Gamers can be a volatile bunch, and while their passion is commendable and heartwarming at times, it can also be embarrassing and despicable. I say they because even though I'm a gamer, I like to linguistically distance myself from being associated with any and all groups I belong to as part of a detachment complex of sorts where I view myself as an observer despite being a participator, which is a great mechanism for ignoring culpability. Anyone else? Alright. But so when gamers get mad, they can get really mad. Gamer rage is a meme for a reason. So what pisses off gamers? There are hundreds of things like cheap deaths, game-breaking bugs, egregious microtransactions, and trees that don't look that good. But to home in on a singular culprit, the thing I want to talk about that never fails to make gamers angry as hell is when video games are good. Yes, good. When games are good, people get mad. You see it all the time. People often resent good games for their ensuing popularity, as is the case with things like Minecraft and Fortnite, which would only have been able to draw the massive player bases they've drawn if they had something good to offer. Those games are objectively good, and yes, you can say that, because after a certain size of census has been made, the subjective becomes the objective. Anything that can keep that ridiculously many players entertained can't be written off. There is a fundamental truth inherent in a massively popular game's success. It's a core spirit. It's something that resonates with gamers as a whole. It's not a fluke. It's a call that beckons millions. It may have been stumbled upon by accident, but what these games have isn't just a result of marketing or influence, because all these people play and continue to play these games. Marketing can get someone to play your game, but it can't get them to play it again and again and again across time. Your game has to have that it factor, and if your game has that it factor, it's objectively a good game. And I guess now that I've brought this logic up, I have to see it to its conclusion, because people are gonna be like, so you're saying games are good based on their popularity? Subjectively, no. Objectively, yes. Subjectively, games can be good on a micro level for any number of reasons, specific to the people in question who are playing them. If one person in the world likes a game, that game is good to that one person and no other people, so it's a good that only one person can perceive, which makes it not register on the broader map of public opinion. As such, there are two versions of good, subjective and objective, and what makes an objective good is when enough people share their subjective good energy, spirit bomb style, to create a force that is too powerful to be ignored, because we are the ones who dictate what good is. We decide it. You say objective good doesn't exist. I say enough subjective good becomes objective good because we make the rules of what's good. It's our objectivity that enforces them. Take a game that the vast majority of the public deems good. Let's say like Red Dead Redemption 2. Why is it good? Because of the realism? Because of the mechanics? Because of the immersion? No, it's good because enough people say it is. The why doesn't matter when it comes to whether or not it's good. It's the same reason money has value, because enough people say it does. Value follows the exact same rules as good. A diamond is objectively valuable because most people, if they found a diamond, would be like, holy shit, it's a diamond, I'm rich. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a video game diamond, and I didn't even really get into it, but it's an objectively good game because it sold over 26 million copies, and the reviews have been tremendously positive. It doesn't get more objective than that. And good, when it comes to video games, isn't relegated to any specific trait. It doesn't mean polish, it doesn't mean accessibility, it doesn't even mean replayability, sort of contrary to what I said earlier. It just means there's a spark that pulls people in, however briefly, and delivers a compelling experience for whatever reason. Remember Goat Simulator? That dumbass meme game from 2014 where all you did was play as a buggy goat and cause mayhem wherever you went? That was also an objectively good game. It wasn't polished or interesting or impressive, but it spoke to the populace. It drew them in. Untitled Goose Game is a more modern equivalent. It captured the public's attention, and even though people have pretty much forgotten about it already, for a time it was an objective good. So now that we've covered objective good, we can get back to the initial point, which is why objective good makes some people mad. It's a certain type of person, the kind who doesn't respect majorities or consensus or really just people in general. They'd say stuff like, these games are only popular because most people on Earth are dumb sheep with no taste or intellect, when the truth is they're popular because they cater to more commonly shared human aspects than other games do. They tap into our base-born instincts. Humans are a species, and all species share certain deep, incorrigible traits within the species, and if a game appeals on a deep enough level, we're all gonna flock to it, and the only ones who won't are the ones avoiding it in spite of themselves because of an undeserved air of superiority. I would never play such a shitty game. That game is beneath me. It's not. And if you stepped outside your unjustified snobbery for 2 seconds, you'd realize it. And even if you didn't, and you sat down to play it, you'd have to hide your enjoyment from your own consciousness. And that just completely undermines your whole point of view, doesn't it? Now, certainly some things just aren't everyone's cup of tea, but if you have an inherent opposition to a game based solely on its popularity, you're just pretentiously deluding yourself. What's good enough for the general public is good enough for you. Accept it, you'll enjoy life more. Good also makes gamers mad when a game was expected to be great, but instead it's just good. I can think of several examples that I'm even guilty of in different ways, namely Kingdom Hearts 3 and the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Kingdom Hearts 3 has such a rabidly emotional fanbase that has basically tied the reason for their continued existence onto this series being utterly phenomenal and providing them with continued motivation to live. It really does feel like it's that important to them sometimes. Hashtag not all KH fans, whatever. And I'm a big KH fan myself, so after the 15 or however many years since Kingdom Hearts 2, we'd all hyped ourselves up to the point of overinflation. It was unsustainable, and we felt that balloon explode when the game actually released and turned out to be overall a very good game, but not like the best game. And I went on defense mode against all the people that were coming for the game's throat in the beginning, because many of them were angry. And the fact that they were angry made me angry. So we were all angry together over this game, if on opposing sides, but still, if there was a spirit bomb of anger being formed, we were all contributing to it. Not to use the same metaphor twice in one video, but it's a classic. And then with Spyro, I was on the other end. I was the angry, disappointed one. I thought they had utterly failed to deliver on nostalgia, which I still believe, and I considered the lack of polish to be an insult to the franchise's legacy, which I still believe, but I let that cloud the fact that the game was still objectively good in many other ways. Most reviews were positive, most people liked it, and fundamentally I still had fun playing it when I wasn't harping on something that was missing or changed in a way I didn't like from the originals. It was still 3 gorgeous and mechanically sound games for 2/3 of full price. That would appeal to anyone who liked the genre and wasn't overly concerned with how it compared to the classics. Although for the record, I will restate that I loved the Crash Insane trilogy, and I think that was much better done as far as maintaining the series' legacy goes. Just proof that it can be done, in my eyes, and that I'm not some blind retro loyalist. But overall, the point is that while I was not wrong to voice my concerns and opinions on Spyro, it was wrong of me to let that drive my whole experience into the ground. And when it comes to gaming criticism, people need to be way less apocalyptically bipolar about how they feel about things. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I will see you guys next time.